So she recalls the case of her father, who had been made the victim of much malicious propaganda and who would really have found himself in trouble if Helmer had not come to his rescue. Helmer says that there is a good deal of difference between his own case and his father's case. Now, Helmer, her father's professional conduct had not been entirely above suspicion, while his professional conduct is beyond reproach. He says that he wants to maintain his good reputation, and that he is not going to keep Krogstad in the bank, no matter what Krogstad does, especially because she has already made it known that he's going to remove Krogstad from the bank. So the man is persistent, insisting on dismissing Krogstad out of the bank without caring at all of what Krogstad might do. He goes on to say that he does not want people at the bank to think that he can be influenced by his wife in his official decision. This is another thing also why he wants to dismiss Krogstad, because everyone in the bank knows that Helmer does not like Krogstad, and he is taking the decision of dismissing him of the bank. So now, if he changes his mind, people in the bank, the employees, would think that he changed his mind because of being influenced by his wife, and his wife is the one who is taking the official decision. His wife is, people in the bank would think that his wife is dominating Helmer, and he has a weak character. So he wouldn't accept that. He wouldn't accept people to say about him that he has a weak character and he is a weak husband. Now, the order or dismissal, the order of dismissal against Krogstad, he then tells her that there is another reason also why he has decided to dismiss Krogstad. He could have perhaps overlooked Krogstad's past record, but Krogstad has made a new saying of himself to him at the bank. In other way, he and Krogstad had been intimate friends at school, and Krogstad now embarrasses him by speaking to him always in a familiar manner. This is another reason why he wants to dismiss Krogstad, because he and Krogstad were intimate friends at school, and they separated for a long time, and when they meet again, each one of them is in a different position. Krogstad is in a small position in the bank, a subordinate position, while Helmer is the manager. So there is a big gap between the two positions. But still, Krogstad is believing that, he believes that there is still that intimacy between the two, while that does not exist. So Helmer refuses this. Helmer refuses to be treated informally by Krogstad, because definitely that would affect on his relationship with the other employees. He would not be able to control them. Okay, now her father's professional conduct had not been entirely above suspicion. While his professional conduct is beyond reproach, he says that he wants to maintain his good reputation and that he is not going to keep Krogstad in the bank no matter what Krogstad does, especially because he has already made it known that he is going to remove Krogstad from the bank. He goes on to say that he does not want people at the bank to think that he can be influenced by his father, his wife, and his official decision. The order or dismissal against Krogstad, he then tells her that there is another reason also why he has decided to dismiss Krogstad. What is his other reason? Is that he could have perhaps overlooked Krogstad's past record, but Krogstad has made a nuisance of himself to him at the bank in another way. He and Krogstad had been intimate friends at school, as I said, and Krogstad now embarrasses him by speaking to him always in a familiar manner. Now, Krogstad has a tendency to speak to him like an equal, addressing him by his Christian name and trying to show that he is intimate with him. This position is not tolerable to him, says Helmer. Nora says that if Helmer resents Krogstad's familiar manner of speaking to him, it only shows that Helmer is a petty-minded man. Helmer feels much offended at being called a petty-minded man and says that he would put an end to this whole affair by immediately sending the order of dismissal to Krogstad. Also, he summons the maid servant, asks her to send somebody to Krogstad's house in order to deliver a letter to him. He hands over to the maid servant the order of Krogstad dismissal, and he tells Nora that he fully understands her anxiety, that he knows that her anxiety is due to her love for him, but that he cannot change his decision to dismiss. Helmer, of course, is doing this because he is ignorant of the real situation. He does not know that the true reason for Nora's anxiety in this manner. Nora is worried because of Krogstad had given her a threat that he would disclose her criminal act of forgery. But Helmer is under the impression that Nora is feeling worried because Krogstad, after receiving the order of dismissal, would begin to spread false and malicious propaganda against Helmer. Having this impression, Helmer now tells Nora that he has enough strength to face whatever happens and that he is man enough to take everything upon himself. Now, let's move a little bit. Now, Nora takes him to mean that in case anything happened to her, Helmer would take all the blame upon his shoulder. And, of course, this did not happen. As we said, Helmer then goes away into his study, while Nora feels terribly frightened by thought that Krogstad would expose her criminal act of forgery. And let's see in the next lecture what's going to happen when Krogstad receives that letter of dismissal. Now we have, as we said, some model questions at the end of each lecture. In telling Helmer that nobody had come to see him, Nora was telling what? The truth, a fact, a lie, a joke? Of course, she was telling him a lie. Now, number 2, Krogstad had been guilty of robbery, of murder, of burglary, or of forgery. The correct answer is of forgery. Okay, with this we come to the end of lecture number 5, and soon inshallah we will see what's going to happen in lecture number 6, and we are going to see what's going to happen when Krogstad receives the letter of dismissal. Is he going to accept this? Is he going to disclose her, to tell her husband about the crime of forgery and tell everybody in the town about this? This is what we are going to know inshallah in our next lecture. Thank you very much to all of you, and see you soon in our next lecture number 6 inshallah. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.